Hey y'all. So one thing that we found out while we were up in Canada and that I see online all the time is that a lot of people outside of the US don't know what biscuits and gravy are. They don't get the concept of it because like in England, biscuits are cookies. In Canada, gravy is the brown style gravy, which is good in its purpose. But this is biscuits and gravy. This is a breakfast dish. So that's what we're having for breakfast today. So I'm gonna walk you through it. So we got all of our ingredients here. This is my cooking show, I guess. So today we are making the biscuits and gravy. No, not really. So what I have, 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I have right here on this plate, I don't know how well you can see it, I have a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and then a full tablespoon of baking powder, and then I have a cup of buttermilk right here. And then I have 6 tablespoons of butter. The butter has to be very cold, so earlier this morning I threw it in the freezer, let it sit there and get really, really frozen. And then I have 2 more tablespoons here, but I'm gonna save those. That's for the gravy. So the first thing we're gonna do is we have to combine all of our dry ingredients. So we're gonna take, let's see if you can see yeah, there we go. So baking powder, baking soda. We're just gonna combine those into the flour. And set that over there. And then you need a whisk, or if you want to make it with love like your grandma used to make, you can just get in there with your hands. But that comes here in a minute. So we're just going to mix those together. And we might speed this process up because it does take a little bit. Then we're going to take our 6 tablespoons of butter, and this is chopped up. We're just going to throw that right into the flour mixture. Now this is where the love comes in, because you have to get in there with your hands and basically just mush that butter into the flour until it resembles, the recipe says coarse meal. And I'll show you what that looks like once we get it. So I'm going to dive in here. Y'all just hang on. We're gonna speed this up some. Okay, so we've got our flour now mixed up to where it looks like coarse meal. So you have to really get in here, and what you're doing is you have to get in and find all those little chunks of flour and just mush them with your fingers and mix them into the flour. I did wash my hands before this, in case anybody was wondering, but this is what it's going to look like. So if you bake, you know how flour acts. But once you get the butter in there, it acts almost kind of like kinetic sand in a way, where it'll clump up but then break apart. So that's what you're going for. That's a coarse meal. And of course you want to just keep checking, make sure that you got all of the butter mixed into the flour. You're going to have chunks. You want to make sure that it's just clumps of flour that are in there. Okay, so now we have that. That is the base for our buttermilk biscuits. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in our buttermilk. We need a spatula. So we're going to slowly add in our buttermilk, stirring it as it goes in. And this is going to look like an unholy mess. I'm gonna warn y'all now. So you just want to mix this all up until it just becomes one kind of blob in your bowl. Just like that. So there's the batter for our biscuits. Oh, and you know the one thing I didn't have? It's probably the most important. So you'll stand by. We're gonna edit this part out. I need a much larger cutting board here. And I need olive oil. Now, why olive oil? Why not flour? You know, usually when you're dealing with dough, you can just use flour to keep it from sticking. Well, with buttermilk, you don't want too much flour in there. And the more flour that you put in trying to get it, you know, worked, then it's just going to be that much harder, or it's going to affect the flavor, I guess. So take a little olive oil and just go straight on your hands. Get your hands nice and coated. And now it's not going to stick. So you can work this out. What I like to do is I work it out until it's about, you know, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch thick, however thick that is, I don't know. I am not a professional, people, y'all know this. Okay? Then, we're just gonna take the whole thing, and make an unholy mess, like I said earlier. Maybe I should have put some olive oil down on the cutting board too. And you're going to have to reapply if you're making these. You're going to reapply the olive oil just to keep it from building up on your hands. Now, once we get it to this point, you could roll it out, use a cookie cutter, and cut you nice, symmetrical, round biscuits. You could do that. Nothing wrong with that. That's not our style here. We don't like symmetrical. Well, in our food at least. Oh, stand by. Y'all, I did mess up. As I said, not a professional. So we're gonna pick this up off of the board. Scrape off as much as we can here. There we go. Okay. Now, the reason I said that we use olive oil on our hands is because you are going to use a little flour. And I should have done this. That's my mistake. Put that back behind y'all. Throw some flour down on the board itself. And then, there we go. Now that's not going to stick. You can work this out. Through the magic of creative editing, I'm going to look like a genius when this is done. Okay. So you want to work this out. Kind of looks like a pizza crust, right? And then just kind of gather it all back up. And kind of let it sit there. And get rid of our mixing bowl. Now what I have here is just a little glass casserole dish. And instead of doing Crisco and flour in there, I'm just gonna put some parchment paper in there. So like I said, you can roll this out, you can use a little cookie cutter, make it as pretty as you want. Here at the cottage, what do? We're just gonna pinch some off. Okay? We're gonna pinch it off, make a little ball out of it, drop it in the pan, and repeat that process. Now, the last time I made this, it made 9. So hopefully I can get that same amount, which is perfect for us, because then everybody gets 3. You split them in half, you put your gravy on top, and it is one of the best breakfasts, I think, that you will ever have. And I'm losing oil here. I've lost my oil, people. More oil. More oil! Okay, here we go. Making biscuits, making biscuits, making biscuits. Uh-oh. Got 6, 7. Ooh, might be the perfect amount. Some are going to be a little bigger than others. Some are they're going to look a little wonky in the pan. But there we go. 9 buttermilk biscuits ready to go in the oven. So now, I'm going to move you all over here. Let's come over to station number 2. As you can see, my oven is already preheating. Got some coffee here. It's only coffee. Y'all calm down. Okay. So, we have made half of the breakfast. We now have to make the part that turns this from just boring old biscuits into a southern staple. So, we get our flat, deep, whatever kind of pan you want to call this, I don't know.
Deliciousness.
Yes. We're going to turn this on kind of high. Get the trusty refrigerator here. And what we have is just regular pork sausage, right? Yep. My regular, well, it says regular on the package.
Yeah.
Regular pork sausage.
You can also use country.
You can use country sausage. You can use any sausage you want in this. That's the beauty of biscuits and gravy. Okay? If you have some venison sausage that you want to use venison. You got rabbit, use rabbit. You got, whatever sausage. Does not matter, because it's going to be good no matter what. Okay? So, we take this, and I don't know how y'all get the sausage out of these. This is how I do it. You cut one end open, and then you just twist the other end.
Keeps your hands from getting gooey.
Until you get enough of a little pigtail there. And then you can just kind of milk it out of the package. There we go. My trusty assistant has finally arrived.
Oh, stop.
We're just gonna break this up, get it going. And while that's going, y'all heard my oven. So we're gonna throw the biscuits in there. And we are gonna put these in here, kitchen timer. We're gonna go 10 minutes to start off with. I don't know. So again, through the magic of video editing, y'all are gonna come back and this sausage is gonna be done. Okay, and we're back. So what we have is the sausage here is now completely browned. Just got to kind of chop it up a little more because you don't want large chunks. Basically, you don't want large chunks of sausage. You want small chunks, kind of like think ground beef, basically, but it's sausage. Okay, so if you remember, we had 2 tablespoons of butter left over from our biscuits. We're gonna take this. Dump it in there. Oh, it would help if we got all the paper off of it, though.
Speaking of biscuits, you want to tell them what you did while you were what?
Yes. So while we had the camera turned off, I did take another tablespoon of butter, melt it in the microwave, and I used a little pastry brush and did I brushed it on top of the biscuits in the oven. I still have a few minutes left on those. So we'll see, that should help brown them up pretty nice on top.
Yeah, mine come out real pale because I don't do that.
Yeah. Last time I made these, I did an egg wash, which I thought was good.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try a butter wash this time.
Butter's easier to do than egg.
Now this sausage didn't have a whole lot of fat come out of it, so there was no need to drain any of it.
And you need the fat.
And yeah, you need the fat. And we added 2 tablespoons of butter. So
this is good old,
dude,
not healthy Southern cooking.
This is some hey y'all breakfast right here. This is a good old hey y'all breakfast. All right, so next, now that we got the butter all melted, and if I was truly a professional, I would have been prepared.
It's okay, we're not professionals. We don't claim to be.
We come back to the flour. We're gonna take, we need more flour, Ben.
We have some out in the freezer.
Oh, okay.
I bought a big bag this last time.
Cool. So we're gonna take a 1/4 cup of flour, and we're just gonna sprinkle this all over the meat. And what this is gonna do is, if you've ever made mac and cheese from scratch, you know you gotta make that roux of melting butter and adding flour to it.
Or like sauces from
or like any kind of sauce, any kind of cream-based sauce. That's basically what you're doing. So you're just going to kind of mix this up, let it soak up the fat and the butter that was in the pan, and we can probably turn this heat down a little bit so it doesn't burn it.
If y'all have some other ideas of what you'd like to see us make, if we can do it, we'll do it.
Absolutely. We love eating. Can't remember how much milk it called for.
And most of the stuff we have on hand anyways.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you know what? I messed up.
You need more butter than that.
More butter! I said 2 tablespoons, it was 3.
Oops.
Yeah, it'll be alright. So we're going to melt 1 more tablespoon of butter in there.
It's a very forgiving recipe.
Yeah. Can you get 3 cups of milk?
Yes.
Please?
Yes.
Assistant.
Excuse me. Oh, we're out of our fancy our boring plastic ones.
Yeah. Or
That
do you
we've
want to
had.
use the? Do you want to use one of these up here?
No.
Okay. Let's check those biscuits.
We've had these plastic ones since we got married.
Okay, not quite. So we're gonna put it in for another probably. Let's do 3 minutes. Yeah, we'll do 5.
So you say 3 is very odd.
We'll do 5.
Excuse me.
I think it took a good 15 minutes the last time I made these. So
Put your phone up there so I don't accidentally get milk on it.
thank you. No. We banished our son to his room while we did this.
I didn't.
I did. Oh, that's hot.
Well,
Stoves do that to things, people.
duh.
In case y'all were curious. Okay, so we're just gonna pour the milk straight in,
A cup at a time.
1 cup at a time,
Helps break up those clumps.
and we're just gonna mix that up. Here, you can pour it in as you get it. And now this is probably the most nerve-wracking part of the process, is waiting for this to thicken up.
Because there is going to be a point where you're like, I don't know if this is going
Yeah.
to work.
So, what we had to do last time, we actually had to turn up the heat. So,
You can always add a little more flour too.
yeah. So now we have our meat, just a 1/4 cup flour, butter, and the milk in here. And now we just have to wait for it to thicken up.
You'll add your salt and pepper after.
Yeah, we'll do salt and pepper to taste. But you want to let it thicken first before you start adding that, because you need to be able to taste it to make sure you get enough in there. There's really no set measurement for the salt and pepper.
No, which is why I usually am the one that salt and peppers it, because
Yep.
I'm the one that wants more salt than anybody else.
All right, so let's clear some of these.
Do you want an
There's
actual
additions.
spoon to finish stirring, or do you want to keep using the spatula?
Well, I accidentally just put the spatula in the dirty water, so
Okay.
I guess a spoon or something else.
Let me stir.
Yeah, go ahead. It's all about teamwork, people.
Let's be honest, I can only work in the kitchen with you. Well, and my son occasionally. Haley's not a cook.
No.
She was boiling chicken and burnt the chicken because she boiled the water out of the chicken.
I think we've all been there, though.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the time I put bagel bites in the oven and then went to Walmart.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, when I lived in the trailer.
Yeah, I was going to say, we weren't married
No,
yet.
we were not married at that point.
Okay, you don't want to like constantly stir. Just
Yeah.
stop, let it kind of bubble a little bit, and then stir. And you don't have to aggressively stir either.
All right, I'm gonna take y'all mobile. Let's see.
Just pick up the tripod.
I don't want to just pick up the tripod.
Ooh, it's starting to thicken up.
Wait a minute. I don't know how to flip it.
Because you can't flip it while you're recording.
Ah, boo. Okay.
See, it's starting to thicken up. It's still real watery, but
Yeah.
it's starting to thicken. We've passed the point where I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, when I made these a couple weeks ago, I was like, I don't know.
Okay, you can tell them what happened?
Okay, so apparently somebody here doesn't know how to use the phone camera. I accidentally stopped the recording.
Anyways.
But we have our gravy, and that's the consistency you're looking for right there.
And we turned
Is-
off the heat.
Is thick but fluid. Okay?
Because you need it to run over
Yeah.
your gravies.
Over the biscuits. Over the gravies.
Over the gravies, yeah.
We got our biscuits out of the oven. Okay, that's what you want them to look like. You want them to have some brown spots on them like that.
He did turn it over to broil
I did.
For a couple of minutes just so we could brown the top, but you don't have to do that part.
So now we're just gonna separate these, and because they're not like pretty,
You don't need them pretty, you're gonna eat them.
Yeah, no, you don't. But they're wonky.
They're pretty in the southern food kind of way.
I mean, this is what I would expect to find if we went into like a small diner in like Alabama.
I wouldn't even say that, just in a mom and pop diner that makes everything from scratch.
Yeah. Now,
because you can find them like that.
As I said, sometimes you can butter it or use Crisco and flour in the pan. But this right here
That's why we like parchment paper.
makes it so much easier.
We do it. We use parchment paper for nachos too, and then there's no cleanup.
Those are hot.
You think they just came out of the oven?
Ovens do that to things, people.
He always leaves me the middle one because he's sweet. No, go ahead and do that one so we can show them how you do it properly.
All right. So let's get a close up of the biscuit there. So what you're gonna do, you then take these and you just kind of pop them open like that. Oh wait, here. Let's turn you a bit here. You just kind of pop them open. Ain't no need to be pretty or stand on ceremony with this. And then you're gonna take your gravy and just
Drench them.
drench them. Now, obviously I can't put as much as I would like because I gotta make sure everybody else has some.
That's why I go last.
But there we go.
Biscuits and gravy. You want the first bite?
I'm gonna have a bite. And I know this may not look appealing or appetizing to a lot of people. Don't care. It's good to us. Gotta get some gravy in there. Biscuits and gravy. Fresh out of the oven.
Homemade.
Homemade.
There are cheater ways to do this too.
Yes. I mean, you can do the Pillsbury.
Here.
You can do the Pillsbury ones. You can use the packets of gravy. She's gonna grab one of the packets here. So
Takes 2 of those though to
Yeah.
get enough.
so you can get something like this from the store. I don't know if they even have this in Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, because y'all do only seem to know about the brown kind of gravy. But if you can't buy the packet, that's how you do it right there. Okay, you can go on Pinterest, find these recipes. This was by no means any kind of secret family recipe.
No, it was a Pinterest.
This was a Pinterest thing.
But they're
So-
all basically the same. This is just
Yeah.
the one we like.
Yeah, so definitely get you some parchment paper if you're going to do this, because I mean, look at my pan. My pan is nice and clean. I wait for it to cool off. I stick it back in the pantry, in the
All we have
cabinet.
to do is wash the
Yeah.
pan, the sausage pan.
That's it. Just that one has to be washed. So if you're looking for something, I mean, you see how long that took.
Like maybe 20 minutes.
It's like a 20-minute cook time, prep time, everything, start to finish.
The biscuits take the longest.
Yeah. So definitely try some and watch this video again and again and again and again. Watch it like 10,000 times because then we get 10,000 views. Okay.
If y'all like these kind of videos, we will definitely be doing
Yeah.
more because we have lots more, especially when the holidays roll around.
Oh yeah. So get you some, I guess. I don't know. What's our cooking sign off thing gonna be? Like I don't know.
Get you some?
I don't know. Eat it up. Get it. I don't know.
Eat it up, y'all.
All right. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.